What's up?
I don't know. I'm digging around with the backgrounds.
Oh, Jesus, that's actually nice.
I know. It's a little, I'd say it's really choppy though. I can see my weird like cut and paste outline pretty much. I can't do any movements. Welcome everyone, Simple Politics. This is episode 4. I'm Patrick.
I'm Andrew. Unfortunately, Stephen won't be joining us. He said he felt a little tired today.
No Steve, he's too busy bleeding his heart out.
He was, dude. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. So, he was. There's two things you could do if you're going out canvassing. You could do what's called canvassing, which is knocking on doors, trying to talk to people, or you can do what's called lit drops. Those are the things that they put on your doorknob. So he was out there, and he actually had a French camera crew following him and his one friend.
And what a weird thing to be doing now. I mean, I don't know who's undecided. November 2nd. Yeah, I don't know who to vote for right now.
Oh, pretty much nobody. It's just that I think everybody is just so worried about how tomorrow is going to go that they're like, and this election has had the most foreign news outlets try and come over here and cover it.
I mean, it's going to be very, very hyped. And I think a main problem with that as well is going to be all these mail-in ballots. So I think it's going to get a lot of people's hopes up very early on, but we're not going to know the results really tomorrow.
Yes, and that's going to be getting a lot of people are going to be paranoid about that.
I mean, far as foreign politics go, Boris, he already has it kind of marked down that Biden's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, well, the UK has its own sets of issues. All of them are bad.
Even Putin, during the last debate, Putin even condemned Trump for talking bad about Biden.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he say about him?
He said it was disrespectful to do that. I mean, out of all the people to say it's disrespectful to talk about a political opponent, but yeah.
Well, what specifically was he condemning? Like Trump bringing up Hunter Biden's Ukraine thing?
The family attacks. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that is kind of shitty. Like,
well, the thing is, Putin did it because I think Putin even knows Biden's probably going to win this. So there's Trump is no longer needed. Trump has no value to him. So he can just cut that go. Like, you just let that shit go and that's it.
Oh boy. This is, I mean, if his sugar daddy is cutting them off, man.
I know. I mean, Trump has definitely been losing his mind this whole past like half of a month now. I mean, one of his tweets was, Biden will listen to scientists, as if that's a bad thing.
Yeah, like, why is, like, I really wonder why this whole thing is, like,
and that's why it's sad. It's like, now things like that shouldn't be political, but now it's like, oh, you don't believe in coronavirus or wearing a mask. And automatically, I already know who you're voting for, and it shouldn't be that way to begin with.
Also, the other thing that was weird, did you hear about that one story where a bunch of Trump in Erie, Pennsylvania, they were bussed in, and then to one of his rallies, and then it ended up not happening, and they were all just left there.
Oh, you're talking about, like, I thought that happened in Pennsylvania. I thought that happened out like west.
It either happened in Erie, no, I'm getting my stories.
I thought that was like around Michigan, or.
Well, okay, so I forget exactly where, but one of his rallies, a bunch of people were bussed in. The
Yeah,
rally
and
ended
they
up
were
not
left.
happening, and they were left there. And then there was another rally where Trump outright admitted, "Yeah, I don't want to be here."
Yeah, some of the bus drivers actually spoke upon why those people were left.
What did they speak upon?
They were never paid.
Oh,
Their payment was bailed on one of the rallies beforehand, and they didn't receive payment again. So they just said, "Ah, fuck it, we're just gonna leave all these idiots here."
oh my God!
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I
That's
mean, Trump doesn't care about anybody, so it's not like it's a surprise. But I guess to some it might be. And I mean, I mentioned it earlier, like off camera, to they found water on the moon. That if we didn't have this terrible political climate right now,
that would have been.
that'd be a major thing. Water on the moon. People would still be talking about that for a whole month
Oh,
of what that could mean, what we need to do. Instead, no. You have Trump tweeting that Biden is Castro's puppet.
Biden is Castro's puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like. I mean, I think at this point he's just trying to deflect as much.
He's just trying to spew as much shit as he can and hope something's going to stick. People were defending that tweet too. I mean, Fidel's been dead. He's not like the ruler of Cuba right now.
No, it's his brother now, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't even know what Cuba's been up to that would even be relevant. I mean, China and Russia are the big enemies. So
yeah, I mean, like at this point he's been unhinged. At this point,
well, yeah, he was praising like a lot of his supporters who were that whole bus thing going on in Texas where those Trump supporters were pretty much safely escorting them out of Texas, but they weren't. That wasn't happening that way, like he said.
No, they basically rammed the bus off the road, and everyone inside the bus was like terrified, like deathly terrified.
You have months ago when we had all these protesters, and they're saying, "Oh, just run them over. They deserve to be run over if they're blocking traffic." There's literally scenes in New York where these small dick Trump supporters in their giant trucks blocking bridges, blocking traffic for everybody.
Oh yeah, they were. I believe they were blocking the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Yeah, there's stuff like there's video recordings of them running red lights. There's video recordings of them literally putting tape over their license plate to block it. That's also another very illegal thing to do.
Yeah, that's
I mean, you're not allowed to block the flow of traffic. You're not allowed to obviously intimidate people to be off the road. And you're not allowed to also block your license plate either. But you have the orange clown praising them for what they're doing. But if it was someone on the left doing that, they would just say, "Oh, they deserve to be shot."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, like Trump supporters were saying that people on the left deserve to be shot?
No, I'm saying if people on the left were doing that, that's what they would be saying. They deserve to be run over, and all that other violence. And I've been seeing a lot of shitty ads too. It's common. I mean, you might have seen some of like the Biden ads where it will feature some guy and the guy will open up and say, "I've been a Republican my entire crappy life, but this is the election. I am now voting Biden." I think you might have seen those ads.
Yeah, I've seen those ads. I've seen the same version of the same ad over and over again.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's not a new concept, and I know it's not like super believable, but when the Trump campaign did it, it was even less unbelievable because they showed some hick guy out in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania who was working on a fracking site, and they have him saying in his, pretty much his yeehaw voice. I've been a Democrat my whole life, and this is going to be the time I vote Trump because he supports fracking. They picked the most unbelievable person to tell me that, because I knew damn well in my life that this person's been a Republican his entire life.
Yeah, the guy doesn't even sound like he's from Pennsylvania.
Like, no, the ads are so poorly put together. I'm not saying Biden's ads are gold.
Like most of the fracking is occurring like more towards I mean there is some fracking in NEPA, but most of it's like north central.
Middle of pretty much nowhere.
Yeah, middle of pretty much nowhere. And like even people from up there, they don't have a southern accent. Like,
no.
Who the fuck
they shouldn't have this yeehaw voice in middle of nowhere Pennsylvania. They just put no effort into this. And then you also see garbage ads which aren't supported by a candidate. Like on the radio, it'll say Biden's going to raise your taxes. And then you'll see a poorly edited cut, and you'll just hear Biden saying, raise taxes, and that's it. But at the end of the ad, it doesn't say like endorsed by Trump or whatever, because that's how they could get away with it. Trump can't endorse that, obviously.
No.
But you're going to have a lot of idiots who are going to be like, oh man, Biden's bad.
Yeah, those are super PACs. By the way, I like how back in 2015 when Trump started running, I'm going to self-fund my campaign, and now he has all these super PACs.
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest lie to begin with. I mean he's nothing but really a con man. I can't even call him a businessman because he doesn't understand basic fundamentals of business. If you want to obviously make consistent money,
yeah.
But I guess money laundering counts because he's definitely money laundering. I mean, there's that one famous YouTube channel. I won't mention his name. He's a lawyer. You know, he mentioned about Trump's taxes are pretty sketchy. So
I think, I remember which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's things like that. Like he's cutting corners somewhere. The loopholes he says he knows how to close, but he doesn't know how to close them.
Nah, he didn't know how to. He doesn't know how to do anything. And for years, I mean, this comes from multiple sources. This even comes from like Trump family members, Eric, Ivanka, intermediate family. It said, "Oh, we get a lot of our loans from Russian sources, like Russian banks, because all of the banks, at least the big ones in Manhattan, stopped loaning money to him."
Oh yeah, he's gonna owe foreign entities money. That should already be reason enough that he can't be a president naturally. He's already just a major treason risk.
Yeah. See, here's something interesting. Okay, so back in 2015, when Trump was running for president, as 2016 approached, everyone said that technically speaking, Obama could order the IRS to release his tax returns. A president can technically do that. If I were Joe Biden, just to bury his career or any possibility of him trying to run in 2024, I would do that. I would just tell the IRS, hey, release this guy's tax returns. That way nobody can that way there's no doubt that this guy is a sketchy ass motherfucker.
Oh yeah, and it's just everything Trump has done and said he would do, he failed to do. He's going to put Hillary in prison. Didn't even come close to doing that. Said he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. Mexico did not pay for that wall. Trump had to pretty much scam organizations to try to fund that crappy put together wall that he has going on. He never even completed the wall. He's nowhere close. All he managed to do was shoot a lot of golf and, well, find ways to make his family richer.
Yeah, and piss off a whole bunch of people in the process. I was telling a friend of mine recently from the Democratic Party, like, um, I really, really do not want, like, I am. There are a lot of local elections coming up next year, but like, I do not want to hear about politics outside of this YouTube channel,
Yeah, pretty
outside of
much.
this outside of this podcast, at least for at least for the next like 3 to 5 months. Uh,
See, though, one thing I wish Steve was here for is because he would probably answer my question the way I think he would answer it. Let's say Biden wins.
okay.
Is everything going back to normal then? Is that it? Like everyone's like, I mean, obviously the right will be upset.
Okay,
But
so there's the. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to answer that question in the way it should be answered. So, back in 2017, at the March for Women rally, somebody was holding up a sign and it said, "If Hillary Clinton was winning, if Hillary Clinton had won, we'd all be having tea right now." Um, and I said this to a friend of mine who sort of asked the same exact question. Um, we can't go back to having tea or drinking beer or drinking wine.
right.
We've got so much. Okay, so here's what happens.
But that's the thing. I know Steve would be like, "Oh no, everything would be fine."
No, I don't. I actually don't think he would say that.
I don't know.
But I think this is what needs to happen. The the moderate Democrats need to start admitting to the fact, like the Nancy Pelosi's, the all of the establishment, if you will. I'm sick and tired of using that word. All of those Democrats need to realize that you're not going to have the world you had pre 2016.
No.
We need to build it. This is what I think. Number one, solve the COVID problem. Do as much as you can to find a vaccine. Um, Federal mask order. Everyone needs to wear them. Um, Once we have a vaccine, and once COVID stops becoming a problem, which could be, I haven't done any research as to how vaccine trials are going as of lately. Um, I've heard some are doing good, but there's not one they haven't approved of yet. So, I mean, we could still be dealing with COVID 60 days a into Biden's presidency,
Oh,
which would
it
be
only makes
around
sense that it
March.
would be. I mean, this winter is going to get bad, whether
Yeah,
people want to believe it or not.
yeah, and cases here, I believe cases here in Luzerne County started going back up a little bit. Um, uh, we've got a whole November and we've got a whole December. But at once we have COVID under control to the extent that European countries and Asian countries have got it under control, then we need to do something about the environment. Uh, we need to do a whole resale rethink. Uh, I don't think cap and trade would be enough anymore at this point, because cap and trade was always marketed as the solution back in the 90s and the early 2000s, when we still had more time to solve environmental issues, but we don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
that time
exactly.
anymore.
I think Biden winning's a good step in the right direction, but there's still a lot to do. There's a lot more we need to do.
Here's my question. Do we stop fracking completely, or do we
Yeah,
just not allow people?
we don't need fracking. We have
No,
so
we
many
don't.
other options that we don't need fracking at all.
Yeah.
I've heard people say, like, oh, well, fracking's kind of a good midway point until we get things settled. No, we don't need it at all. We have solid technology in solar. Like, that technology isn't like Are we going to get this to work yet or not? No, we have that technology down. We have wind technology down. We can start pumping this stuff out like no tomorrow now.
Yeah. And so I was watching a recent documentary. Um, I mean, it's kind of sad because a lot of families have been put out of work, but the lower coal regions, places like Kentucky, um, West Virginia, uh, they're losing jobs at an
Yeah, weep for them.
alarming rate. There's a county in Kentucky where 53% of the income is all Medicare, Medicaid. Uh, it's not coming from outside sources. Uh, so that region is entirely devastated. So this whole idea that we're gonna put those coal miners back to work.
Yeah, no,
we've obviously put that to fucking.
We did. And that's the thing, like the Republicans used pretty good against the left. The left didn't kill coal, the market did.
Yeah.
Just like the market right now can kill all fossil fuels. But we do have some biased people in high up places that are preventing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
And we still have people who are against, nuclear energy.
I never understood that. I never. Nuclear energy was the. I mean, people talk about the midway point.
Well, they bought into the
fear mongering.
The fear,
of nuclear.
like what happened with Chernobyl. What could have happened at 3 Mile Island? Even in Japan.
Plant. Well, see,
yeah, but we don't need to use those plants anymore. I mentioned it back maybe 2 episodes ago, maybe an episode ago. We have better technology that we don't even need to worry about a meltdown.
No, well, you're correct. I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, the reason why we have the nuclear power plants we do is because they're cheaper to develop. But I don't know if I don't know like what it would cost to build like a thorium plant.
But it would be worth it though, because you don't need to worry about a meltdown. You don't need to worry about the waste offset because you can recycle that waste into reusing it again.
Yeah.
And it would produce a lot of power. I mean, we don't live too far away from the Berwick power plant naturally.
Yeah.
That produces a lot of power on its own. But people are they buy into the fear of certain things, but then those will be the same people that are saying, no, we shouldn't fear this virus.
Oh my God.
Because they don't want to listen to the scientists. Once again, it's all about feelings and beliefs with that. And I see it on the left too. I mean, they have their own feelings and opinions and stuff as well, but we can't deny facts. I mean, we're kind of making United States look like a third world country here.
Well, actually, we're making certain states in the United States look like third world countries. So you see the statistic all the time. It's the statistic about how much we spend on healthcare as a nation as a whole. Here's the problem with that statistic. If you look at it state by state, this isn't in defense of our healthcare industry, because even with some of these numbers, our healthcare industry is still as bad and still needs to go in the direction of Canada, of the UK, of European countries. But the Northeast states, a lot of the Pacific coastal states, we spend some of the lowest amount of money on healthcare. Pennsylvania being really the only exception. But the South is terrible. The Midwest is really bad when it comes to healthcare spending. We're just completely a lot of this conservative, capitalist
It's
screw everybody attitude.
it's hurting
is-
everybody.
It's hurting everybody, and it is turning to some states into third world countries. Um,
Yeah.
it's that whole neoliberalistic idea is just it needs to die. It really does.
It's a
really
poison. Exactly. Like people buy into it for some reason. Just like if we were to tax people who are making over $400,000. Like as if that's a bad thing to do.
No, you know what? I found out something interesting, and I think I've discussed this statistic with you. Um, how much money do you need to make in order to get into top 10%
Of the US or the state.
of the US?
Oh man, you need to make a lot. Like more than 400,000.
Nope. It's 115,000.
Oh really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
5% of the top income earners, you need to make around 400,000. And then to get into the 1%, it jumps up to like 10 million. And then
Oh
you
geez,
get
so
into
I'm almost in that 1% then. I'll get there one day. I'll get there one day.
It's like people don't realize how bad income inequality actually is. I tell that statistic to everybody and they don't believe me, and then they go look it up and they're like, "Oh wow, you're right."
It's mind blowing. And to think like we're supposed to feel bad because we're taxing someone who makes over $400,000 a year. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't. We need to stop feeling bad for taxing the rich because people don't realize.
I mean, I wouldn't feel bad if we had a day where we can hit them with baseball bats. Hit them in the kneecap day.
Now, come on, you don't need to be that violent.
It's guillotine day. We sacrifice one rich to the world.
Oh, if the world keeps getting as bad as it is, like if in 4 years we don't solve any of the major problems, if I wouldn't say 4 years, more like 6 years, if we don't solve some of the major problems that we have, it is going to be guillotine day. It is going to be
good.
I'm not even going to say civil war because this conflict isn't regional like it was back during the actual Civil War. It's going to
No, it's just funny that we might enter a civil war again, but we're not completely entering the civil war on new ideas.
No, we're not. Like, you did say this once to me, or you said this on one of our episodes. We need to stop calling ourselves progressive. We just need to go all the way to socialism.
Yeah, we got to just march.
Or at least start taking some of the socialist ideas. But like,
well, we need to, and the world actually needs to do that too. We need to start focusing on a type 1 society.
Oh, speaking of which, I've told you this before. Do you Michio Kaku 5 years ago said we would reach type 1 in 100 years?
And we're not.
I still don't think that's going to, like, I used to be optimistic on that idea and say, yeah, how awesome would type 1 be?
We don't have the most viewers right now, obviously. We're kind of just starting out. But we also know a lot of people in person, and their grasp on it is already kind of confusing. And then once you start factoring in people who are racist or religion, and that's going to upset a lot of people, but religion holds society back.
I don't have anything again. I don't have.
It's held society back. Religion used to be a stronghold on not just America. It used to be a stronghold on Great Britain as well.
Yeah.
And they did terrible things to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And make a lot of money.
I think, if you want to talk about some of the ideas in religion, yes, some ideas have been bad. My problem is if you start going out there and saying that, like, there are Christians, Muslim, Jewish, whatever, who have no problem with people who are LGBT. I think at some point, a lot of people, like, there's definitely a disconnect between the people who actually practice the religion versus the people who are actually trying to teach the ideas of the religion.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I think taxes should be Jesus Christ, churches should be taxed,
yes.
especially if they're promoting, Trump or Biden. In this case, I see a lot of churches around here allowing Trump stuff going on in their lots or in their front, or they have a Trump flag.
Wait, Catholic churches or other denominations? Because technically speaking, a priest or cardinal, this is actually a rule in the Catholic Church here in America. They cannot in any way, shape, or form promote specific candidates.
Yeah, I'm
They
not
can
sure.
promote
I mean, there's a
issues.
church that's like a block from me. It might be Methodist, maybe.
Okay, their rules are probably different. Then.
Garbage. If you're a church and you promote someone, you get taxed. That's the way it is. You get taxed.
I do think, and this is
it's not even controversial. We need to tax churches. They have so much money. Tax the churches. They don't shelter the homeless. They shelter taxes.
I think we also need to start. I think once you get above a certain amount of money in charity donations, I think we need to start taxing that because, like, you have all these billionaires who have.
Well, some of the people who run these charities make bank just because they run a charity.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a fraud. The whole thing is a sham. People are frauds naturally. If they can get away with pulling something, they will.
Yeah, they will. I think once you get over a certain dollar amount, just so we don't stop people from like giving money to charities that actually do good work, make it like, I don't know. Once you start giving over $100,000 money in total, then you don't get a tax. It's not taxed. It's not.
Well, exactly. Like Bezos has more money than a state. Take Alabama. Everyone living in Alabama doesn't have more money than Bezos.
If you take the top if you take 0.1% of the income earners in America, and if they were to actually go and start their own country, they would be the 8th largest economy in the world.
Yeah,
that's how much money they make. They literally make bank on everything.
And it's amazing that people think like these are self-made people. They're not.
It depends on who you're talking about. Some of them are and some of them aren't. Like the investors, they're not really quote self-made. They're just more.
The whole Kardashian family isn't self-made.
Oh, the Kardashians, no, they're not.
The Trump family isn't self-made.
They got their money from bad real estate deals.
Yeah.
Actually, the father was the one, Fred Trump. He was the one who made the business.
Yeah, and just pass it all down and watch little Donnie destroy it all.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates got lucky in a lot of ways. He did cheat a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
Jeff Bezos, he kind of also got lucky in a lot of ways.
But the thing is, like, maybe they weren't like Bezos wasn't born into being Bezos. Obviously, he wasn't born that rich right away, but he wasn't born hella poor.
I think he was born like middle class. I'm not 100%
I
sure on
mean,
that.
same with Bill Gates. Like Bill Gates, when people like, oh, you could be like, you don't need college, you could just drop out. What college did Bill Gates go to?
He went to Harvard.
Oh, so
Like,
you're saying there's a difference between dropping out, getting into Harvard and dropping out of it than your local community college?
yeah, there's quite a difference.
Oh, I figured our community college in our area was the equivalent of Harvard. So
Yeah.
if I could just go to that community college and then drop out of it, Bill Gates money gonna rain on me.
That's actually a very dangerous, like when people see, oh, well, Bill Gates did this, so I can do it. Yeah, the difference is like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, like they actually had an idea going on. So
Yeah,
it
they
made
just didn't decide
sense
to
for them
drop
to
out.
drop out.
And like I said, like you already had to have some sort of natural intelligence to get into Harvard, and you're not going to be poor getting into Harvard.
Uh, it's just, it's just like that. Like their success in a way, like somebody has gotten the idea to do that and have completely failed when they would have been better off being in college. Uh, so yeah. Uh,
I
well,
just don't understand like why we just can't get it through our like the mass majority can't get it through their heads like the rich aren't your friends, they're not on your side.
yeah,
They don't care about you, and you're never going to be like them.
yeah. The majority of us are not going to be Jeff Bezos owning 3, 4 homes in 4 different places, 3, 4 homes in 4 different places. Um, and that's the pro. Like America is such an individualistic country. Um, uh, and it was founded that way because all of the founding fathers were inspired by oh my god, now I'm forgetting his name, but they were inspired by an individualistic idea. And
They're inspired by Jeff Bezos, the lizard
individual
man.
and individualism has really started to show its weaknesses in its ideology. It really has.
Well, yeah, and you have other countries maybe not being the best examples, but they're still listening to scientists in some sort of form, like Japan. On 10/24, they were going to release that radioactive water into the ocean.
Japan.
And through backlash and the scientists, they decided not to.
Right.
At least not yet. Maybe they do in the future, but if we were America, hell, we would have dumped that shit in the ocean so fast and then said, "Oh, our bad guys, we'll fix it maybe."
Hey, the sharks are there's sharks growing feet and walking on land and
Like the Gulf of Mexico when we had that giant oil spill. It's easier to just say, they didn't even say sorry. They just said, "Well, fuck you." Sounds like your problem. We might fix it, we might not. They didn't even really say sorry, but that's kind of what we would do. That's what the US would do. They would just dump something into the ocean and then just say, fuck it. It's gone now. It's not our problem.
Yeah, they yeah, but America in general is a very individualistic, proud but stupid-ish. No, it
Yeah,
is stupid.
let's put like quotations around proud because it's stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid people.
we need to stop being individualistic. We need to start thinking about what's good as society as a whole, and just start doing things that are just start doing things that are better for society in general. Um, so here's 2 things I want to know. One, if by some miracle Trump wins, either by getting the most votes, which is highly unlikely, by the Electoral College, which is some people, I've read a couple of articles, have actually thought have actually predicted that he might that might how he wins again.
See, I don't think he gets bailed out again by it.
I don't think he will, or if he wins by the courts, there's going to be riots in the streets.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be chaos, and tomorrow's gonna be no different because people are just gonna think, oh well, we shouldn't have to wait to count those mail-in ballots. Even though I can't stress this enough, we mentioned it before. Other people have mentioned it before. We don't know the results the same night. It's not how it's been.
No, but like if like a month from now, if somehow Trump wins the election, like I've had people tell me that people in Wilkes-Barre are probably going to burn the city down.
That's right, comrade. I have a red beanie I can put on.
An Antifa shirt too?
I'll get one of them.
But here's the other thing, okay? If Biden wins, there are people out there who seriously believe through this whole QAnon conspiracy crap that he's a pedophile. Like they actually asked Republican voters, and 20%. There was this one poll. 20% think he's a pedophile.
Okay, but like half the general public thinks we should have bombed Agrabah years ago.
I mean, like
they don't want to teach Arabic numerals in schools, so I'm kind of not really listening to the general public anymore.
But you think that those people aren't going to act out and try and do something stupid?
They might act out, they might do something stupid, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Fuck around, find out.
Wow, for once you're actually more optimistic than I am.
That's right, comrade.
But yeah. So here's another question. If Biden decides not to run for a second term, what happens then? Because I still have questions in my mind about that. I think it's a terrible idea. I know the Democrats will try and push Kamala Harris if that happens.
I don't know what the outcome would be. I don't think that announcement should even be in anyone's mind. I mean, you have to win this election first.
Right.
Don't be thinking about the big game down the road. You got to win the game in front of you.
All right.
And I feel like if that is in his mind that he's not going to run again, then he needs to keep that to himself until the time comes.
Oh, he has been keeping that to himself. All of the sources for those articles are from people who did work in some capacity at some point.
Well, then they're also hurting their own cause too. Like we should not be trying to.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you do have a good point there.
We should not just be letting that go. Like he might not run again. I don't know, but we have to put fucking Trump in his place. He needs to fucking go to jail.
Oh my God. If the DOJ does decide to go after him, that's definitely going to light up a lot of people in the conspiracy theory world.
Good. What better way to start off guillotine season? We take down the Great Pumpkin.
Oh man. But yeah. But anyway, some other news. Amy Coney Barrett. I believe our last episode, she still wasn't sworn in. Well, now she was sworn in.
Yes. The woman who was able to go through a door that was opened to her by another woman is now going to close all doors behind her so no other woman can now repeat. Yes, her.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's one question, just to get to the quick story. So there's a court case that basically is going all the way to the Supreme Court.
We need to start answering these questions very, very easily here. Guillotine season or not? That's kind of how it goes. Everything she's kind of doing, well, let's get him out, boys.
Like I think well, first of all, uh there was a court case related to Luzerne County where um Justice Amy Coney Barrett basically recused herself from the from that case, which is actually pretty good. Um, so there is at least some semblance of hope that Trump won't try to win through the courts.
I don't know yet. You can't really count on that because he's going to get desperate and he's just going to start doing whatever he can.
If
he's a rat on a sinking ship.
And he's, well, no, I wouldn't say he's the rat on the sinking ship. I think all the rats left already. I think he's the captain who is
not Pence. Pence is there. Pence is like that little like thing that sharks gav, like they have on their fins and stuff that clean them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Pence. Just kind of clinging to Trump.
I think I think Trump is going to, like, no matter what. I mean, he's probably not going to invite Biden over if he wins to the White House. He'll probably just be like, man, screw you. Then if it gets to the point where he's like, it's January 20th, Biden's being sworn in, and Trump is still there, locked in the White House, being like, "I'm not leaving at all. You're gonna have to come and get me." Like, I could actually see a scenario where the army is literally going to take him and throw him out on the lawn or some stupid shit.
I mean, they're also going to go down to that bunker because that's where he's going to go hide.
Oh my God, it's
going to go hide in that bunker.
Yeah, but there's something else I want to. Like, I feel sorry, and I don't feel sorry for his family.
Nope.
Because
fuck them. Guillotine.
You know, things when the guillotine in France was, when that whole era was going around, things were crazy for like 40, 50 years, man. If it ever gets to that point, we're all really screwed. Like, seriously screwed. Yeah.
They do say the rich do taste like pork, so.
But yeah, it's gonna be bad. Just grab a beer or a glass of wine. Or
I did come across a really neat thing you should look up.
What?
Police 40%.
Police 40%?
Yeah.
Do 40% of police officer families experience domestic abuse? What? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is, oh, wow. I mean, is there actually, is there an actual, okay, so here's from Temple. As the National Center for Women in Policing noted.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Okay, there's an actual study here. I mean, when it comes to policing, I believe this. I believe in the Black Lives Matter movement. I have my problems with it, but I do believe, like, all of the testing, like the psychological testing, is done at the end. No, it needs to be done at the beginning. Also, the police unions need to start watching they need to start watching their own.
Why would they do that when they can get away with it? When their own are also bad. When the people watching them are also bad.
Yeah, they're not doing a good job of that. And on top of that, like, okay, Camden, New Jersey is actually a really good example of this. Um, so it's still not the best place in the world, but it's definitely gotten better in the past 5 years. They actually went and fired the entire police force. I honestly think some places need to start doing that nationwide. I think they need to start firing just fire everyone
Guillotine them all.
And then have them all reapply. No, not
Guillotine them all.
No. Like they need to start doing that because the Camden police officers apparently have, like, since they did that, everyone within the community has generally agreed that they've been doing a much better job, both in terms of community policing, both and in terms of complaints against officers. I believe they also have to wear body cam. That's another thing. Why do police officers have such a thing against body cams?
Because then they can't get away with doing what they want to do.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
and
simple.
there was also a controversy where the hood cams, like the cameras on, like in the window of their car, the police officers would actually open the trunk, open the hood.
Yeah, it's just everything that they're doing is just proving what everyone's been saying, right, this entire year.
Yeah, like,
they're undereducated, they're undertrained. Guillotine them.
Just, that whole situation is terrible. But yeah, this study is actually kind of interesting.
So we need gulags again, is what you're saying.
No, we don't need gulags.
We need a gulag now.
We just need a lot of reform in this country.
A gulag would do that.
It would do that, but it also wouldn't solve anything, and
it would make these streets safer when we gulag the police.
No, Jesus Christ. Now you're just getting into weirdo territory. But yeah, I also do think the AFL-CIO should consider dropping the police union from its ranks. They're genuinely a cancer on unionism. Although I do have some complaints about unions myself, I generally believe they are a great idea. But yeah, to any of our viewers who, I think we possibly have 5, and 3 of them are our own YouTube channels, get out there, vote for crying out loud. We need the Senate, we need to keep the House, and we definitely for shizzle need the presidency.
Yeah. Let's hope Biden wins, and let's hope this video does not age poorly then, if he doesn't.
It'd actually be funny if Trump wins, everything turns out to be fine, global warming is actually a hoax.
Yep. That would be it.
Oh my God. All right, everyone. Peace out.
We'll be back again. Hopefully we'll have Steve. Maybe we'll have someone else. Who knows? Good night, everybody.
Good night, motherfuckers.